Okay, so hello everyone. This is day 12 of Django REST Framework DRF. In this video, we have to understand the concept of DRF views, Django REST Framework views. Earlier, we have discussed about the Django views. So, Django views are two types. One is class-based view and second one is function-based view. Similarly, here in Django REST Framework, we are having two types of view. Okay, so in the REST framework also we have two types of views. One is API views and the second one we have view set, right? So API view is like what? View is like FVB, function based view, and this is similar to CVV, means class based view. Why I am saying it is similar to function based view? Because it provides us more customization. When you want to do more customization, then you will use API view class. When you want less customization and ready-made things, then you can use view set. And which is recommended? View set is recommended. Okay, so this is more recommended when you want to create like rapid development. Okay, so which one is recommended? This one. Okay, so let's try to understand first API views, and we will understand them with code as well. So don't worry. So what is API view? We can say it is the most basic class to build REST APIs. Okay, don't think like I am saying like API views like function based view. So it doesn't mean they are function. They are not function. They are classes, right? But I'm saying FVP in terms of customization. Like FVP class, I mean function based view provide us more customization. Similarly, in REST framework, API view provide more customization, right? Okay, it is it is similar to Django traditional. So this is not. We can say it is a child class of Django view class, right? Next point is we have to write complete code for business logic, and hence programmer having complete control on the logic, right? So you have to write business logic, right? Complete code of business logic you have to write by yourself. Right? It means programmer have more control over the logic. We can understand flow of execution very clearly. Okay, with the in the API view we can easily understand the execution flow clearly. Next point is we have, okay, the next point is best suitable for complex operations like working with multiple data source, calling other APIs, etc. Okay, so next point is we have to define URL mapping manually. Right. So this is about API views. Now let's understand little bit about the view set. Okay, so now understand view set. So okay, before going to the view set, let's add one more point here, which is it like API view, it allows us to use standard HTTP methods. What are the standard HTTP method? As functions like get, put, post, etc. Right? Now, let's understand about this view set. So in the view set, we have some methods like we have list method. Okay, so list methods when you want to get all records. Okay, whenever you want to get all the records or want to fetch all the records, then you will use list method. And we have one retrieve. Okay, retrieve method. Like if you want to get the single record, to get single record, okay, to get all records. And then we have one more method called here update. Okay, before update, let's write create. Where create means to create a new record. Okay, then we have update, to update a record, right? And after that we have partial update. So partial update is used for uh, to update few few fields of data. Okay, and then we have destroy. Okay, so destroy method is similar to the delete, to delete a record. Okay, okay, so with the help of these methods we can create APIs very easily. So we can say developing very simple APIs. Okay, APIs like CRUD API. Okay, okay, and there is one more concept here which is router concept. Okay, so what we will do, we'll create a browsable API as well as we will create the Python script to communicate through the API, right? So, like, let's perform one task, how to send response in API view. And so for this, what we will do, we'll create here one new project. Okay. So let's open a file. Open a folder here. And today is day DRF12. So DRF 12. Okay, select this folder, close this, and create a new folder. Okay, folder we have already created here. Now we have to create the project, right? So what we have to do, we have to open the terminal, and here we will write the command like Django admin start project, and the project name is with rest 2 cd with rest 2. Okay, now create the application in this project. So py manage.py start app, and the application name is test app. Okay, so test application has been created. Now what we have to do, we have to add this test application as well as a REST framework in the settings.py. So go to the settings.py file, and here in the installed application, here first of all we have to keep here a REST framework. Okay, and next what we have to do, we have to register our test app. Okay, so both have registered. Now we have to go to the views, which is inside the test app. So in the views, let's create here one view. So which view we will create? We will create the API view. Okay, so I will write here class. So class I will write, and then I will say I will create one test API view. Okay, and this test API view is a child class of this test API view is a child class of which class? API view. Okay, because what we are learning here, we are learning API views. Okay, how to send response in API views. So where this API view available? So from REST framework, okay, dot views. Okay, do not write this. Import API, right? Now after that, what we have to write here? We have to write here def get method, and first argument is self. Okay, next is what? Request. Next is args, and then keyword argument kwargs. right? And what we will write here, let's suppose I'm creating here one list, okay? And this is what, let's suppose I'm writing here coding, okay? And in coding, I'm creating one list like Python, like Java, okay? And C++, and we can say Android, right? So this list we have coding list, and what we will do, we will return the response. So return response, okay? And this response class we need to import from Django REST framework. Okay, so in the Django REST framework there is a response module. Okay, so from REST framework dot response import response class. Okay, and this response class will convert our Python dictionary. So Python dictionary, how we write? We write in the form of key and value pair. So this response class will convert it into JSON. Python dictionary into JSON, it can convert. Response class can convert. In Django, what we use? We use dumps method. Okay, so JSON.dumps we write, but here we are using what? Response class, which is available inside the REST framework. So here I will write message is a key, and what message I will say? Mm, happy coding, right? And I will mention here one more key, and the key name is, let's suppose, coding, and the value of this key is nothing but coding, right? So this dictionary I have to convert into JSON, and this response class will convert it into the JSON. Next, what I have to do? Okay, so that's it. After returning, we don't need to do anything actually, but right here one note, like we can say a response class is responsible to convert Python dictionary to JSON data. Correct? Okay. So now what we have to do? We have to create endpoint. Okay, so go to the urls.py file. So in the urls.py file, just go here, and we have to write here path, and here we have to mention the endpoint like API, and it is coming from views dot. Okay, let's import the view first. So from test tab import views. So we have to write here views dot which class, test API view dot as underscore view, right? Now let's check whether we are getting API response or not. So we are taking, we have created this API view class, okay? And this API view class is a part of REST framework views. Okay, so let me just run the server. Py manage.py run server. So it has created, it is running the server. Just go to this URL. Okay, let's go to the API endpoint. Okay, so it is saying no such table session. Okay, so we need to use what session table. Let's resolve this error. So how to get the session table? So see, if you will go to the settings.py, so we have session, okay, session middleware, right? So when you will run the make migration and migrate, so automatically session table will be created. So run first py manage.py, make migrations, py manage.py, migrate. Okay, so session table and other tables also has been created. Okay, so just run the server now. Okay, now just refresh it. So as you can see here, we are getting here Django REST framework interface, and here we are getting our JSON response, and it is displaying what's HTTP success code 200. The 200 is what? OK code, right? And what is our content type? Content type application forward slash JSON. Earlier, whenever we want to send the response, we were mentioning the content type is what? Application slash forward slash JSON. But right now you don't need to mention. Everything will take care by the Django REST framework views. Okay, and we are getting this response from here. And for like in order to test your API, we can use one testing tool we can use, that is the Postman. Okay, so we can download the Postman, which is for testing API. So let's download the Postman download. Okay, click here. Uh, so it is for Windows. So it will take some time. Till then, let me just write the code, whatever code I have written. So what I have done, I have created one project. Okay, so the command to create the project is Django admin start project with rest, right? Then I have done cd with rest 2, then py manage.py start app test app. So these commands I have written. After that, we have add rest underscore framework and test app in settings.py file. After that, we have written the views code, views.py. I have written some code here. So what's the code which we have written in the views? So this is the code which we have written, and this is the libraries. Okay, and after that we have created urls.py. create session table. So to create the session table, we need to execute the command py manage.py make migrations py manage.py migrate. Okay, then run server. To run the server, we have to run the command py manage.py run server. Okay, and after that we have to go to the visit url. So what you can do, you can write here localhost 8000 slash API. Then you will get the out. Download Postman to test. Uh, download Postman for API testing. So what's the website? So this is the website where you can visit. Hmm. Let's install it now. Okay, so let's just wait. Here the icon of it came, so it is installing Postman. What is asking my account to sign in. Okay, so you can create your account. So let me just create my account first, then I will show you. Okay, so once you have completed your installation process of this Postman, so here you will see this interface, and here what you have to do, you have to mention the URL. Which URL? Okay, see, as you can see here. Okay, not this, but here. Okay, let me just close everything. Okay, so as you can see here, this is API. It is showing our REST API here. So this is nothing but browsable API, but the same API you have to test with testing tool, which is Postman. So you can copy this URL, just copy this URL and just paste this URL. And which method we are using? So we have here different method: get, post, put, patch, delete, and everything. So but we will use here get because we are fetching the data only. So just click on send, and here you are getting. Okay, so what message you are getting? Happy coding. And in coding, what you are getting these all the values. Okay, similarly same thing you are getting here. Okay, so means your endpoint, this API endpoint is coming with some response, and this is the response, and this Python, Java, and C++ is coming from here, from the views, because here we have created coding list, and this coding list we are passing as a like value of this coding key. Okay, which is displaying, and this is displaying as a JSON response, because this response is a class which convert our Python dictionary into a JSON. So that is why here this is what JSON data, and similarly here also you can see the JSON data, and you can notice here what it is showing: JSON, right? Okay, so the next task is what we have to do: post request. Okay, how to do the post request? Okay, so we have seen how to send the response to API view. Now we have to perform one more task, which is post request. Okay, so let's suppose there is a partner application. Partner applications like Python application or Java application. It could be any third-party application. So we are saying here partner application will send some JSON data. So in order to convert that JSON data into the complex data, so some conversion required. So some conversion required. So serializers are needed. So what we will do, we'll create the serializers class, serializers.py file, and here we will write the code. Okay, so here we have to create the serializer file. So just click here and write here file name serializers serializers.py. Okay, so here I will write class, and let's suppose I am writing the class name is name serializer, and this is what I'm creating, the normal serializer, not the model serializer. So what I need to do, I need to I need to make it the child class of the serializer class. So serializer dot and this serializer is available in the REST framework. So from REST framework import serializers. Okay, so here I will create one name variable and serializers dot character field and give some inbuilt validation like max length. Max length is what 10 characters. Okay, so this is what serializers.py file code. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to create the post method. Okay, so this is in the views. We have created get, and we are getting get response here. Okay, so this is which response? Get response is coming from API endpoint. But for the post request, what you have to do? You have to create here post method. So def post self request and args and kw args, right? So here you need to get some data from third party application, all right? So what I will do from the not from the third party but from the serialization class, this name serializer we need to access in order to get this name, right? So what I will do, I will import that serializer class in views. So from we can say test app serializers import which class? Name serializer class. So right here name serializer, and here we need to use name serializer class, and here we have to provide data. Okay, because this data will be go here in the serializer class, right? So we will take the data by writing here request.data. So just write here request.data. Okay, and this data is nothing but serializer. Okay, now we will check if serializer dot is valid. Okay, then what we have to do, we have to get the name. Okay, if conversion happen successfully, conversion done successfully, then we have to fetch the name. Okay, so from the serializers dot data dot get, data is what? Dictionary. Data is what? Dictionary, and from the dictionary I am getting what? Name. Okay, then one message also we will write, and one string message we will write like hey, and we will create here f string. So let's write here f, and we will say hey, uh, here we will mention that person name. Okay, so whatever person name is, we will say hey xyz, happy ending of drf classes. Okay, so this message we have to print, and then we have to return the response successfully. Response. Okay, so this response will convert into the JSON. So this right now which response we are giving? Dictionary, and this dictionary will be converted into JSON with this response class. Okay, and let's suppose if the serializer is not valid, then what will happen? The else part will execute, and in the else part we will return what? Response serializers dot error. Okay, we will display error, and we will display the status code is 400. Okay, so like that we have to do. Okay, so right now only there is one get request only, that is why you are seeing this, that is why nothing is there to enter anything. But let's refresh so that it get the post. The post means like you can enter your content, so it is showing the post button as well, because this section is coming, this section is coming just because we have used which method? Get method. Okay, and the below section is coming because we have written the post means you are adding some content. So adding the content, how we will add the content? So we will provide the name as a dictionary, we will provide the name. So name, we will provide the name as a key, and value is what? Let's suppose mm, mm, which name? Mm, let's suppose Nobita. Okay, so this is what a name we are providing, and let's click on this post button. So what response we are getting? So now you can see this is the post response. This API is get uh, returning post response. Okay, but it is saying HTTP bad request get post JSON. Okay, so there is some error in our code. That is why it is displaying the error message. Let's see what's the mistake we have done. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's run the server once again and just refresh it. Okay, so right now it is get request. So just make it the post request by writing here name. So name is Nobita. Just close it. Click on post. Okay, so now it's coming. So what is the API is returning post response success code 200. Okay, and what it is saying? It is saying message, hey Nobita, happy ending of TRF classes. Okay, so see, like earlier, in order to performing the post operation and get operation, we were writing so many lines of code. Okay, so but how many line of code we are writing? We are writing very less number of code, very less number of lines code we are writing in order to perform post and get. Okay, so you can test this with we can say postman. So here is the API and just click on it. So what we are getting this, but let's suppose we have to send the post request, and when the post request will come, I mean when the post request will launch, so there should be some data in the body, and we will say key value pair. There should be key value pair. So key is what? Name, and value is what? Value is, let's say, uh, like Amir. Okay, just click on send. Okay, so what message it is displaying? It is saying, hey Amir, happy ending of TRF classes. So our post method is executing successfully, and our API is performing well on postman tool as well, right? And if you will just write get only, so it is displaying this response, right? Here you can mention views.py file. It's code. And the what you have to type, you have to type the URL, which is http colon forward slash 127, or you may write localhost, both are the same, 8000, and API, which is endpoint. And what input you have to give? The input which you have to enter is like you have to give mm, mm, mm. You can mention here name and the name of the person, right? So this input you can provide. and then after that click on. Okay, so similarly this post method and get method, we can test our other methods like put method, fetch method, and delete method. So what are the methods we have to see now? Like put, fetch, put method, fetch method, delete method. Okay, so let's do it. So def put and pass, def fetch, then delete, def delete, and okay. So what are the default parameters we have to write? The first one is self. Okay, next one is request. Third one is args. Second, the last one is kw args keyword argument. Similarly here, copy this and paste it here in the patch and in the delete. Okay, after that what we have to do, we are just displaying just JSON message. So we will return what? Just a JSON message. How we can return the JSON message? With the help of this response class. So here we will use response. Here also we will use return response. Here also we will write return response. Okay, and what response we will provide here? We will write here dictionary, and in the dictionary key we will pass which is message, and message is what? This is, or we can say this response is from put method API view. Okay, so same dictionary we have to pass in other response classes. Okay, but this is the which response? Patch. This is what? Patch method. Okay, and similarly here, and this is the delete method. Okay, so this is a delete method, right? Okay. So now let's check it. So right now if you will see here, so two things we are seeing. One is get, second is post, but there is no delete, there is no put, there is no fetch. But we have created already methods, So what I need to do, just refresh it. So just refresh it. So you can notice here delete button came here and put and patch also came, right? So for example, if you will click on this delete and click on delete, and what it is saying, this response is from which method? Delete method API view. Okay. And if you are updating anything, for example, name you're updating, okay, anything you can pass. Okay, so put, okay, let me just copy it and put. So this is from put method and patch. So this is from patch method API view, right? Just paste here. So this is from the post, and as you can see here, method is post a hh happy ending of direct classes. Let's check the same from here. Okay, so this API view. So first is the get response. So get is coming, get response is coming with this coding. Okay, and let's suppose I'm calling put. So for put, there should be a key and value. So key and value both are there. So now what response is coming? This response is from put method. Okay, let's click on patch. Okay, so this response is from patch method. Okay, just click on delete. So click on set. So this response is from delete method. So like that, we are getting multiple responses. Okay, click on post. So this is coming from post. Okay, and forget. Okay, so means from all the HTTP methods, our API is responding. Okay, so our API is working properly with all the methods, all the HTTP methods, right? So I will just copy them. Okay, so what methods we have written? Get is also there, post is also there. Then post and get. Copy it. Let me just update the view. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so next we have to understand now, which is we have to understand now view set. Okay, so we have seen API view. Now let's understand the view set. Okay, so with view set, you can use some methods. Like with API view, we have used such methods like when we talk about API views, which we have implemented. So with API views, what we have used? We used get, we used post, we have used put, then patch, and then delete. So we have seen these several methods, right? But in view set, we have little difference method. So what are they? They are like list, right? After list, let's suppose create, and then we can say update, retrieve, and then we have destroy. Okay, so when we talk about list method, as we have already discussed about it. So the list method is similar to get all the resources. It is similar to the get method. To get all the resources, we use list method, and to retrieve all the resources, we use list to retrieve all the resources. For the single records, we use retrieve retrieve method. Okay, for single we use retrieve. For all we use list to get particular resource. Next is create. And create is nothing but to create a new resource. Okay, then we have destroy. So this destroy is what? To delete a resource. Okay, so like that we use them. And there is one update as well. Update we use to update a resource. Okay. Now let's understand when to use. When view set are best choice. The first situation is if we want to develop a simple CRUD interface to our database, then we can use view sets. Second is if we want to develop a simple and quick API to manage predefined objects, right? The third is if we perform if we performing only standard operation with very less or no customization. If we are not performing any complex, so when we are not performing any complex operations, then we can use view set, and only standard operations with very less or no customization, then we can use view set. Okay, so more customization, just go with uh, for more customization we need you can go with API view, right? Okay, this thing I think we have to keep it in last. Okay, so let's create the views now, like view set views. So just go to the views.py file, and here we will create one class. Class name will be, we can say, test view set. Okay, and it will inherit the class which is view set, right? And this view set class we can import from view set module. Okay, so which is available in REST API. So from REST framework dot views sets import view set. Okay, now what we have to do, let's create one list, not list but create a function, and the function name we can write here like list. Okay, and here is the first parameter is self, and the second parameter is request, and the remaining optional parameter you may write, or you can skip it. Here I'm creating one list. The list name is colors, and here you can write colors name like red, yellow, green, and blue. Okay, and we have to return this response, return response dictionary, message key, and message value. This we can say learning DRF. Okay, and let's mention here colors. Like what colors? Okay, so views.py file code is here, and let's just keep the library also use it. Okay, and for creating the URLs we have to use routers. Okay, so for example, when we will create the URL, so like earlier we cannot create the URL like before, but we have to understand here one concept. So see, urls.py file. So in the urls.py file, what we have to do, view set the router will map view to URLs automatically. Okay, so we have to take the help of router class. Okay, so there is a class called default router. This default router is what class? All right. So how to do it? Just go here in urls.py file and just import here router class. So from REST framework dot routers import which class? Default router. Okay, and after that what we have to do, we have to register the router. So we will write here a router. Okay, first of all we will create the object of router class. So default router, and this object we have to register router dot register, and here we will write first value which is test view set, and the second is our view name views dot which view we have created, test API view. Okay, it is view set actually. Okay, and the next is we have to write base name. Base name will be the first value which is test view set, right? And instead of writing this, we will write here path and include function we need to use, and the include function we can take from here, and in the include we will mention router.url. Okay, so router's URL will appear. Okay, so this code we have to write actually. Okay, so now let's try to run the server. Okay, so server is running, just go here. Okay, so now what it is saying, API root. So it is API root, and it is saying HTTP and 200. Okay, so like that it is showing, but let's suppose just test it on Postman as well. Post. Okay, so it is saying test view set. and it is displaying this URL. Okay, so let's implement other methods as well. Right now we have implemented list. So similarly, we can use other methods as well. Okay, similarly, we can create other views as well, like retrieve. One is partial update. So here we have to give some arguments like self and then request. And one more we have to provide here, which is primary key. Like which single record you want to access. So that primary key you need to give. If primary key is not there, then none will be paste. Okay, so self request and the primary key of that particular resource which you want to update. Okay, if it is not there, then none. Same for the destroy self request primary key not there, then none. Now the code is we are just giving our response as a dictionary message, just a small message we are giving because we will interact with database in the next video, but right now I'm just showing you how the response works. So we will use here response class. Here we will write one message, and this is just a key. Okay, so message this this is from retrieve method of uset. Okay, similarly we will pass the message here. Similarly we will return the response from here. Similarly we will return the response from here, and instead of retrieve we will mention here what we can mention here, partial partial update. Okay, so the spelling wrong here, partial update, and this is for destroy method. Okay, so let's check whether it's working or not. So just go here and just refresh it. Okay, just let me just refresh and just click here. Okay, so this is what this is the get, and let me just pass here one. Okay, so for one, as you can see, it is showing what this patch. Okay, and delete. So for example, if I click on delete, so it is saying this is from destroy method. Okay, and I'm keeping the content is empty if I'm updating it, so it is saying this is from partial update. Okay, and okay, so like that it is displaying one means this is from retrieve. Okay, so we are retrieving particular record, so like that it is working. Similarly you can test it here as well. Okay, so just click on send. So we are getting this URL, just click on this, right? So here you can write get, you can write here. Okay, so okay, post is not allowed. Patch. Okay, so here, okay, you will not use here put and patch, but here you can mention the ID. Okay, so this is the retrieve of view set. Okay, and can we use delete here? Okay, so we cannot use delete here. Okay, so in the next lecture we will discuss like about we will test with this postman. But as of now, you can see here like all the responses are coming from here, like delete, partial update, and we can say get, and like retrieval one record or list view we are getting. Okay, so we are getting all the things. So that's all for today's lecture. Let me just paste this code, copy it, and this is the views. Mhm. So this is not from views actually. This is from URLs. URLs. Py. Views.py. Okay, so that's it, guys, for today's class. In the next class, we will discuss like this. We can say this view set. We will create one model and we'll perform the operations with models as well. Okay, so that's all for today's video.